everyone. Are you ready for the phase one of post-circuit breaker? Well, I can say this confidently on behalf of every real estate salesperson that has been cooped up at home during the circuit breaker. It's been very long. All right, anyways, for potential home buyers out there, what is stopping you from pursuing your dream home? You see, the resumption of property transaction activities in phase one does not mean a return to the pre-COVID-19 practices that we are used to. The adoption of safe management measures and technology will continue to intensify so that we can carry out property transaction activities safely. Real estate salespersons will continue to work from home to the maximum extent possible and to conduct property transaction activities online. But dear consumers, why put your dreams on hold when you can pursue your desired home right now? Do you know you can shop for property remotely? Contact your ERA trusted advisor today to find out how you can view your dream home virtually. Thank you for tuning in to our Ultimate Consumer Seminar today. We have many RSVP and some are still streaming in. Let's wait for them. We will commence the session in about 3 to 4 minutes time. Stay tuned. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our final Ultimate Consumer Seminar Tea Talk Series 2 today. What a great day to put a cup of hot tea between your hands. You see, having tea during stormy weather is always a nice feeling. You feel a hot and soothing sensation all over your body. But the most enjoyable part comes when you know there is a seemingly infinite number of teas all waiting for you to try them. Green tea, black tea, white tea, oolong, pu'er, and matcha tea. When your taste becomes a little bit more refined, you start looking for the right one for your taste buds. Same goes for the house hunting. As you look at more homes, your taste buds become a little bit more refined each time. Let the trusted advisors of ERA help you. Go on the digital virtual tours with them and discover the right house for your dream life. Don't you agree, everyone? All right, and guess what? We have been running this Tea Talk series for 2 months now, and there are still many RSVPs today. Thank you very much for your kind support. While they are still logging in, let's take the next few minutes for some announcements before we invite our speaker on. Dear friends of ERA, we have put together the top 3 best-selling projects of the past week. This is hot off the stove today. Take a screenshot of the image right now that you see on the screen because it is very important for you to know if you are on the verge of purchasing a property. Okay, look, for the core central region, which we call CCR in short, Copper at Newton is the top selling one at 5 units, followed by Marina 1 residences at 4 units. In fact, Marina 1 has been selling quite well as well over the past few weeks. All right, and coming in third is Martin Modern, selling at 2 units. Next, we have for the rest of Central Region, in short, RCR, we have Park Esta selling at 12 units. This is always the top selling project in part of the East area. All right, next we have Jayscape selling at 11 units, very close, as well as the Sterling Residences at 9 units. So what about the outside Central Region? Well, we have the Florence Residences tying in with Treasure at Tampines at 16 units. These are very good sales for the past 1 week. Next, we have Park Clementes, who has been doing quite well as well at 13 units. All right, look, this is a good gauge to help you see what our home buyers are buying into currently. There must be a good reason why home buyers are buying into these projects. Call the ERA trusted advisor who has invited you here today to find out more after this session. Now, are you interested to know how our executive condos are doing during the circuit breaker period? There you go. All current executive condos are marketed by ERA and they are selling well throughout the CB period as well. Most remarkably, ERA is doing so well that after our consumer seminar by Division Director James Poe last Thursday, which is 4 days ago, ERA sold all the units over the final circuit breaker weekend. Like if you look at carefully at Preeminent Grand, there are 4 units at Preeminent Grand and 1 unit at Park Canberra. Total of 5 units were closed over the weekend by ERA teammates because the clients were convinced by James Poe's sharing last Thursday. Congratulations, ERA. Can we have the show of hands to appreciate our ERA teammates that they have been selling so well? Right, if you're still sitting on the fence on whether to buy now or later like these recent buyers, don't procrastinate any further. If you have any burning questions today, please feel free to ask our speaker. And that's what they do during the last session with James Poe. The audience asked a lot of questions, and our speaker will try his best to answer as many questions as possible. So without further ado, let me share with you a little bit of brief intro of our next speaker who's going to help you today. Marvin is also our homegrown leader since joining the industry in 2012. All right, I think we have Marvin's slide here. There you go. All right. Okay, Marvin is another homegrown leader since joining the industry in 2012. Besides being consistent award-winning top leader in ERA, Marvin is also the 2019 ERA Top 48 achiever this year, which put him as the top 0.6 percentile of ERA, which is considered the cream de la cream in the real estate industry. His success is underpinned by his passion to add value to the lives of others. And this, my friends, is what prompted Marvin to become an ever-present mentor and trainer in his own group, the project division director for Park Colonia, which he will share a lot today, as well as stepping up to become the speaker for the Ultimate Consumer Seminar today. Like many other speakers before him, Marvin emulates the vision of a successful dual path career that ERA provides for all real estate salespersons. As such, consumers attending our consumer webinars can be assured that the insights that you gain from our panel of speakers are not just data from internal and external sources, but also include practical strategies that prove to be successful to their personal clients. And hear this. One of Marvin's most recent accomplishments was concluding a deal involving not one, not two, but 9 residential units by a single buyer. How exactly did he achieve such a feat? Would you like to find out, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so Marvin, over to you.
Okay. Hi, John. Can you hear me?
Yes, Marvin, loud and
thank
clear.
You. Yes, thank you for the presentation, the introduction. Now I'm going to turn on my slides. Give me a second. Stop. Okay. That's it. Okay, a very good afternoon, or rather evening to all of you in Singapore. Okay, and then how are you doing on this very last day of the circuit breaker period? You know, when I was approached to actually come online to do this T-Talk series, okay, I was actually given this task to actually end the circuit breaker period with you guys. Okay, so before me, we had a lot of my colleagues who had shared with you the various strategies you can employ, okay, to actually get into your real estate investment. Okay, but today I'm going to do something a little bit different, a little bit lighter. Okay, so firstly, thank you, John, for the introduction. Okay, and this is just a disclaimer of liability. This is to say that consumers, we will share as best as we can, okay, but you still need to do your due diligence before you commit to any investment. Okay, so a little bit about myself. Basically, I was a primary school and a secondary school teacher for 13 years. Okay, I wonder how many of you are like me. You were in the education, or you are in the education sector, you know, and that you are attending this seminar today. If there's any one of you who was or is a teacher, could you just type it into the Q&A so that I know who you are? Okay, let's have some interaction. Okay, and oh, I can't really see that. John, do you see any hands? Hi, John. Okay, I see a few already. Yeah, thank you very much for that response. Okay, that gives me an indication whom I'm speaking to, and I always feel very heartened when I'm talking to teachers. Why? Because actually I feel that a lot of people ask me, why did I transit from education into real estate? Okay, to me, I feel it's doing the same thing, because when I went into education, I wanted to add value to young lives. Okay, and I did that for a good number of years, and I decided that at a certain juncture, I would like to switch to young adults, okay, and families, okay, because I realized at the end, I'm still helping the same group of people in society, just that now this time will be the parents and the parents-to-be. Okay, so that's why I entered into this industry. And then ever since I came in, I've really been blessed by the infrastructure that is provided to us in ERA. Okay, we are very well taken care of. We are always given the cutting edge technology so that we can better serve our clients, that is you. And that today you are attending this live seminar, or rather the webinar, is also something that we have thought about to bring the knowledge and the training for you guys, so that you have insights as to how you can actually embark on the next property purchase. Okay, so we want you to make informed decisions, and that's why your realtors have ERA real estate salespersons have invited you for this seminar, and I'll do my utmost best to share with you everything that I can know within this period of time. Okay, so okay, without further ado, let me just begin. I think a lot of you have been embarking on a lot of this social media or webinars or Zoom meetings, and you're working from home. I checked with a few of my clients. They told me that they will continue to work from home for the next couple of months, and I think it's going to be the same for you. And for us property agents, we are also going to be working from home, more or less, but we are still helping our clients to follow up with them and help them to crunch the numbers so that they can make informed decisions. All right, so a couple of, I think about a week ago, I created this because I just wanted to share with my LinkedIn friends, okay, and my connections, you know, what property agents in Singapore had to go through. So I just want to share this with you so that you can at least have closure for your circuit breaker period, okay? The economy has frozen over in many parts of the world, and Singapore is no exception. The world as we knew it before COVID-19 has moved to a new address, online. Just the other day, I conducted a training online for thousands of my salesperson over Zoom webinar. And on the 1st of June this year, I'll be conducting a consumer talk online live. Welcome to my life. Do you ask the same question that I do? When will this actually end? Or maybe you are just like me, thinking that you're staring right at the dawn of a new normal. Having said that, stay on to the end of this video and watch how Singaporean property agents are evolving in their business model to showcase properties virtually to their clients locally or stuck at home. And this will carry on until 1st of June when the government decides to lift the circuit breaker. However, it is likely that viewings will very much remain electronic and virtual. So my friends, are you evolving as well? How has COVID-19 affected you and changed your life as you knew it? I hope to hear from you at the comments below. I'm Marvin, and here's wishing you stay safe and stay connected. Okay, yeah, so I think you would agree with me. The economy has frozen over in many parts of the next slide. Okay, so you would agree with me that generally a lot of the activity and your property search has actually moved online. Okay, so you guys are probably familiar. Your agents are inviting you to online seminars. They are inviting you to virtual open house sessions, okay, whereby they showcase the tour to you. They are showcasing project units, okay, and show flats through 3D virtual tours, okay. So these are the things that are actually evolving as we speak, you know, and the agents are now equipped with the capacity to so-called showcase all this technology, okay, to help you to get your properties. So this is something that you need to realize, you know, and I guess as a consumer, you have to change as well, okay? You must be prepared, you know, to actually purchase your property through virtual viewings if there is a need. And your agents will actually ensure that you are well taken care of and everything, all the necessary due diligence, you can always check with your agents as well. You know, so I've put this very interesting question on my screen, okay? Are you 18 and above, okay? And I would think that many of you would be, okay? And I would just want to explain to you why I put this here. About 2 weeks ago, when I got to know that I'm going to do this consumer seminar, I actually was talking to one of my clients, and he was saying that, oh, it's good that you're doing it, you know, but he realized that many of the consumer seminars, they are filled with very high level jargon, you know, that a young teenager or would be a young adult, they are not able to understand. And then he put the challenge to me, are you able to share or create a webinar or do a seminar whereby even the young man who is 18 and above, they are able to understand. So I thought about it. I said, this is actually very interesting. Why don't we attempt to do that today? Okay. So really appreciate all of you and for joining us today for this seminar. And I will be sharing with you the 3 untold strategies that property investors use to locate potential upside in new launches. Okay. And throughout, there will be examples that will be given to you, and hopefully you will have a very big takeaway today. And there is a part of this presentation which I will begin with, okay, later on, that will be the presentation I've used since the day I joined real estate until today, and it is still relevant, okay? And a lot of my clients, they say, hey, I have not seen anybody show this to me, but this is really very helpful. And if you stay on, I promise you, you will benefit as well, okay? So the first thing I'll talk about, is the behavior of amateurs. Okay, take this as a list as you go through. Okay, you see whether you are not on this list. That is what we want to have. Okay, so these are 6 things that amateurs they tend to do. Okay, and the first one, of course, is they follow friendly advice. Okay, buying a property, following friendly advice. Okay, it happens this way. Most or almost all friendly advice comes with very, very good intention. Okay, so your friend, they have purchased the property, they have heard so much about it, and they like it so much, it suits their needs, and they recommend it to you. Okay, so that is friendly advice with very, very good intentions. Okay, but not all friendly advice are good advice. Okay, would you agree? All right, so this is the first thing to take note. Okay, if you are a young person embarking on real estate investment, okay, you have friends, you listen to them, but you also need to check with the experts. Okay, so that's where you need to have a very good realtor beside you to help you with the crunching of the numbers and the information insights. Okay, so the next one is that amateurs, they tend not to be open to new ideas. Okay, let me put it this way. Ladies and gentlemen, you are at different stage of your life right now. Perhaps you have multiple properties. Okay, so you have a certain level of understanding that most of the common man, they are not able to attain or have not attained just yet. Or there are some of you who are just beginning on your journey. You have not owned your first property and you're looking for that first property. Well, there's no shame to that, okay, because the earlier you do so is actually better for you. Okay, but what is important is this: if you already decided that you know everything, okay, then therefore today there's nothing I can teach you. There's nothing you can learn from this seminar because you already have your mindset. So ladies and gentlemen, all I ask today is that when you come into this seminar, open up your mind, okay, listen to everything that the speakers myself have to share, and then at the end you judge for yourself. Is it useful for you? If it is useful for you, then you learn something. If it's not useful for you, well, you still have your own ideas and your own mindset. Okay, so I'm going to show you this thing. It says that basically a mind that is closed, it is already set in its ways. Okay, and which is more likely, that you already know everything, or that there's more that you learn at any moment. And some of you look at this and you say, wow, this speaker is horrible. I can't even see the words. Well, sometimes that's the way when we approach new things, we don't wait long enough to get the clarity. And so hopefully you will be like this young man who is over there contemplating. Perhaps he has a new journey ahead of him. Perhaps you have a new journey ahead of you. Okay, so the third one is that amateurs tend to rely too much on past experience. Okay, so if you're going to build a house, okay, what kind of house will it be? Okay, past experience tells you it should look like this. Okay, but well, that is the fallacy of experience. Life can only be understood backwards, okay, but it must be lived forwards. In other words, today there might be a new idea. Today you might get the best deals on the internet. Today you might get the best deals just through crunching through the numbers. Previously you were sensitized. You need to go to the show flat, like everything, and then when you finally get your key, you realize it is all bare and empty, and it is not what you fell in love with. okay? But then did the numbers make sense afterwards? You know, that is something that a lot of people are distracted with, and hopefully through the circuit breaker, many of you are focusing more on the numbers, okay? So the fourth thing is that amateurs tend to buy the cheapest, okay? Get me the cheapest unit, okay? Let me show you this. You recognize these three currencies? Yeah, they all have the same value, is 100, a denomination of 100, okay? So price is exactly what you pay, is 100 Sing, 100 ringgit, 100 euros. But value is what you get, okay? So today I want you to shift from the mindset of price to the mindset of value, okay? To the mindset of value, okay? So should you focus on price or value? All right, the next one is buying the best location. I tell you, this is really something that caught a lot of people in their investment journey. Okay, they go for the best location, but the question is, what is best? Best is best. You have to consider your purpose. Why do you want that property? Second thing, your budget. How much can you afford? Okay, what do you want to do? How much you want your money to work for you? Third, what are your needs? Do you need a school? Do you need amenities nearby? Do you need maybe something that is near to a aging home? You know, your holding period, you know, how much reserves do you have? What is the job security that you have? You know, these are things that you have to consider in order to find the best location. You know, what's the point of buying the best location, which is about 30 kilometers away from where you work? That is going to be very torturous for you if that's the property that you're going to stay in. Your stakeholders, the schools, the medical, etc., your expectation thresholds, okay? The last one is always the wait and see, okay? The market, I think this is going to happen to some of you, okay? Circuit breaker has happened, market is going to crash, prices are going to come down, I'm going to wait, okay? And that may or may not always be beneficial for you, okay? Why? Because the best way to do nothing is to procrastinate. And sometimes many of us fall into this trap of procrastination, and from the time that you could buy, something happened and you could not buy, and you have to wait again, and you have to wait again, and you have to wait again. And if I'm talking about you, that is something you really have to contemplate. Okay, so these are the 6 things that amateurs, they tend to do. Okay, and I hope that all of you don't do all this, okay, and that you're able to invest wisely. And one of the best ways to do so is, of course, to have your realtor beside you. Okay, thank you for joining us today. All right, so I'm going to do a small test with everyone. Okay, so the first test is this. Okay, you look at this. This is a chart, obviously, okay, and it shows you on the y-axis the cost of this product, and then it shows you the current pricing along the x due to the time. Okay, and I want you to see that the previous closing price is about 278,000, and in the last 1 year it was 347,000. Okay, the highest. Okay, so the question I have for you is, will you buy this product? If you are buying this product, if you are thinking that you will buy this product, can you put a yes? If you think that you won't want to buy this product, can you put a no in the Q&A? Can you help me with that? Okay, let's create a webinar for everyone to learn. All right, help me with that. Okay, remember, put a yes if you will buy this, put a no if you won't want to buy this. Okay, I'm going to check on the Q&A now. Okay, I get no, I get yes. Wow, it's actually 50-50. Interesting. Okay, I think those people who say yes, you mean to say that if you know that a certain property has actually dropped its value by about 115,000, you would actually buy it in a short period of time? Okay, so this is something that a lot of people, they fall into. But I'm going to look at the Q&A once more. No, yes. Wow, I'm surprised. We have a lot of interesting consumers in our midst. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next slide. All right, for those of you who said no, okay, let me show you this. Okay, This is actually the chart for Berkshire Hathaway, okay, and this is the stock based on Warren Buffett's investments, okay. And I want you to see from 1990 until now, okay, it has really increased by a lot. It started with 7,600 in 1990, and now it is worth 277,000, okay. So when given such a long view of this investment or asset, all right, do you think it deserves a reconsideration? What if you can go into the Singapore property market and see it from a different lens? You don't look at the small windows of maybe a year or two, but you look at the long term. And if you can gain some confidence from that to make your investment decision, wouldn't it be great? Because then you will have the confidence, probably like me, that your asset will increase in the long run. Okay, so now I'm going to introduce something, a term, just one jargon, okay, to all of you. All right, so teenagers, okay, what is this? This is CAGR, compounded annualized growth rate. All right, it is also known as the rate of return, is also known as the annualized growth rate. Okay, it also means that if I invest so much money in this asset, okay, every year, what kind of returns I'm going to get. And make a guess. I don't need to guess. I've already given you Berkshire Hathaway for this period of time, even inclusive of the drop. Okay, the CAGR, okay, the compounded annualized growth rate is actually at 12.735%. Every year, your money will grow by 12 to 30%. Okay, this is actually a very, very good rate of return. All right, so this is the only concept that I want you to have, and then I will share with you how we can actually use this in your investment journey later on. All right, so I'm going to show you the presentation that I've done since I joined real estate until today. I've not stopped, okay, but it has helped a lot of my clients gain confidence in the real estate market. All right, and I can tell you something. You cannot unsee this. Once you see this, you will definitely have a change. And I hope that happens to you. All right. So are you prepared to move from indecision to decisive action? All right. So here it goes. Okay, what I'm going to show you is data from the Singapore government. All right, you can see the source is data.gov.sg. Okay, starting from 1975 until now. Okay, you can see the latest Q1 to 2020. Okay, that is a total of 45 years analysis. Okay, now we are going to see history, whether it can teach us something, all right, about our future. Okay, so I'm going to just do a very layman. Remember, today the objective is to get across concepts, not to confuse you with jargons. Okay, so I'm going to do a very layman kind of explanation for this. All right, I want you to analyze this. I've actually put the red lines, okay, to indicate the bottom of the index. All right, you can see every time the price fall, it bottoms out at the red line. Can you see that? All right, so that is called the bottom. But do you notice something about these red lines? Do you notice something about it? Okay, and it's very interesting. What is it? Every subsequent low is higher than the previous low. Every subsequent low is higher. In other words, from 45 years ago until today, this law has never been broken. Interesting? All right. So, do you really think the price is going to drop, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question I have for you. Now I'm going to draw a second line. Okay, this line, do you realize it touches the bottom of three? Okay, three of the bottom of the index. All right. So the three lows. Okay, so it touches the most. So I draw this line to have a certain support level. So now with reference to this, okay, I want to see whether I can identify a certain trend to this resale price index. Okay, so I draw a parallel line. Okay, and that indicates the upper limit of this channel. Okay, so I have the resistance line that is touching the tip of that. So now I have a channel. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, based on this, how has the trend been for real estate prices, private real estate prices, since 45 years ago? Okay, it has been a upward trend for 45 years. Upward trend. All right, so this is actually very interesting. So I'm going to find more lines that are parallel, okay, and I will touch the lows so that we can find lines, and I'll touch the highs to find resistance lines. Okay, so there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay, so you realize very interesting, right? How come I can draw such nice lines? Did I influence this? I wasn't born. I don't think I was born. I wasn't born yet. You know, I'm still young, ladies and gentlemen. You know, and so this thing is history, okay, and it has been our track record, okay. Prices in Singapore has been trending upwards for 45 years. And do you think it will continue? What do you think? All right, that's one thing you need to note. And I want you to see the various resistance lines. Okay, so now if you look at this, now between the green, the dotted green and the solid green, which one is the first, what do you call it, support line? Is it the solid green or the dotted green? Actually, it's the dotted green. Why? Because it's the first support line, like for example, this part, whereby when it could not support, it went to the second support line. So this is where it is supporting these indices. Okay, so this is called the first support line, and this is the second support line. This is called the first resistance line, second, third, and of course the fourth. Okay, so just a bit of definitions there, then we can proceed already. All right, so you can see the resistance line. All right, and I want to show you something about this. Let's look at the CAGR of these 45 years. How much this return, this investment, if you have invested in property for 45 years, what would your annualized return be? Okay, 6.51%, definitely more than your bank interest rate. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely exceed for most parts of the time, okay, your appreciation, your inflation. All right, so you have a very, very good growth rate over 45 years. In other words, I've given you something called the average for our property prices. You know, so if I were to go and buy a resale unit, I would like to ask my agent, my ERA agent, and say, hey, can you show me what is the annualized growth rate in this project? Okay, if it is above 6%, I would say that is a very good investment. All right, if it is lower, I may want to view a little bit more. All right, so that's the use of the CAGR. So now I'm going to show you, I'm going to come back to this later on, okay, but I'm going to show you something else first. This is the HDB resale price index, okay, from 1990 until now. There's a good 30 years analysis, okay. And I also want to show you that the slope is actually positive. In other words, it has been trending upwards, and the CAGR for real estate, okay. You see, at the end of the day, I can draw the lines anywhere, but I'm just going to do from the start to the end. That's all. Okay, and we have a average that we can use, and the CAGR is about 5.79% over 30 years. Every year, this bank is paying you about 6%. Oh, pretty good. So we have the average for private at almost 6 plus, and then you have 5.79, average 6%. Okay, so that is the figure, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go away with. Okay, if you can do better than 6, go for it. Right, you are already doing better. You can do 10, 12%, go for it. Okay, the other thing that as an investor, and I think some of you have already gone through this already, but I will just briefly go through, because I think we may have 1 or 2 teenagers who have joined us after I mentioned that this is pitched so that the teenager can understand. All right, so what happens is this. Over this period of time, from 2009 until 2018, there have been cooling measures that have been introduced, okay, to halt the growth, the rise of the property prices, okay. So let's look at it. Basically, there are a few types. The first one is a seller stamp duty. Okay, so when a seller stamp duty is implemented, it actually makes it harder for you to dispose, okay, in a specific time period. And then, of course, you have the loan to value. The LTV. LTV means that the amount of money that you can borrow, and therefore you have to come out with more upfront. All right, so that's how LTV works. And then we have something called ABSD. In other words, you have to pay additional tax. Okay, you have to pay additional tax to purchase this property. In other words, you definitely need to have more so-called capital. All right, then you have something called TDSR, the total debt servicing ratio, and then that is where we determine whether you are eligible to borrow or not. Okay, so if you are already over leveraged, then you are not able to borrow because you would have failed TDSR. So that's where TDSR comes in. And then we have one purple one, which is the ECMSR. Okay, so that is not private, so I will mention that. Okay, and then we have also the removal in 2009, the interest absorption scheme. Okay, whereby you can pay no interest until it is TOP. So that is actually a very good kind of, which will stimulate. So it has been removed in 2009. Okay, so ever since that, okay, we have one more, okay, in September 2018, no, July 2018, and that is additional buyer stamp duty, and also the LTV has been reduced once again. Okay, in other words, in effect, you need to have more money. All right, can you imagine you are looking at maybe May or June to buy your property, and then you are almost there already, about to trigger your purchase, and 6th of July happened. And the next day you have to come up with another 50K, so that you can proceed with the same purchase. Okay, that's the effect of cooling measures, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the intent is to slow down the rise of the prices, okay, and to make people think a bit more before they launch, and less speculation in the market. Okay, so from this chart, usually that is what everybody understands. Okay, but I want to show you something very interesting. Let's look at this. In 2009, after this was implemented, can you look at the volume? Can you see the blue color lines? Those are the volume, okay, the monthly volume of the purchases. Let's see how effective this cooling measure was. When it happened in 2009, okay, what happens is the cooling measure, it went down for about 3 months in terms of the volume, and then suddenly people forget about this cooling measure and the volume pick up again. So that's when the government implement the next cooling measure, and it went even higher this time around. So it didn't really work. That's why the next time the government introduced a next cooling measure, and it went down for only 1 month and it went up again. Okay, next cooling measure. So apparently SSD doesn't really affect a lot of your decisions at that point in time. Okay, so we have already 4 cooling measures. Okay, and then let's look at that. The 4th one, okay, SSD went into 4 years. In other words, you can only sell without any SSD after 4 years. So in other words, you have to go in with a bit more of a long-term view. Okay, a lot of people thought about it, and you can see it affected the volume for quite a long time. All right, yeah, a number of months. So what happens is you go to the next one. Okay, the government came out with the ABSD, and it went even down. Why? You say that, oh, but the volume went down. What? Why did the government need to implement another ABSD? Well, even though the volume went down, the price continued to went upwards. Okay, so we already have an insight. The cooling measures come because the price keep going up despite the measures. Understand? Okay, so this is where it comes to the ABSD, and you will see that it affected for a short while, 2 months, and it went up again. All right, so people still had the buying power, they bought, and so on and so forth, until about this period of time where the ABSD and the TDSR came in. Okay, some people call it the total destruction of Singapore real estate, and you can see that, wow, we had so many 15 quarters of price decline. Can you see? The price finally came down, ladies and gentlemen, and that was when the government had achieved it. And it came to a point in time whereby in about March 2017, the government actually warm up the measures, okay, a little bit, so that they can excite a bit more excitement. And this was the period of time all the en blocs came on. Wow, the sentiment was very good. Everybody was very hopeful. Price was going up, volume was picking up, okay? And so that's where it came. It came after here. And then finally, on the 5th of July, government announced. The next day onwards, you will have to pay additional buyer's stamp duty for your second property, or if you're a foreigner from the first property, additional. Okay, so this is an oversight, and I wanted you to see that price is one thing. Second thing is the volume. Okay, the volume. Okay, and this is the K-gun. I just want to show you something interesting. During these 5 years from March, if you had actually invested in property, this just 5 years, your K-gun will be about 8.9%. In other words, if you enter at this point, okay, you would have come out a winner if you have sold in about 2013. Interesting, right? Okay, and this outperform the average for 45 years. 8.9%, ladies and gentlemen. So the question I have for you is, what was this point? Okay, just before 2009. Okay, you guys know, global financial crisis. Okay, so crisis is definitely a good chance for you to actually pick up some good deals. Not every good deal is good, but there are definitely good deals, and I can tell you investors are looking out for value buys. They are looking for investment grade products, and our ERA salesperson, they are trained to show you the figures, crunch the numbers, and even do a virtual tour with you so that you know exactly what you're buying, okay? And you're not distracted by emotions. Unless you're buying for homestay, please, this is the most important, your emotion, whether you like it or not, because you're going to stay in it for 10 years. Every day you go back to a house that you don't like it, oh, that is really very sad, okay? So I'm coming back to my analysis, okay? So you look at this, you have seen this, you're familiar with it, and I want to show you this. Okay, just now when I show you the cooling measure portion, okay, this is going to be eye-opening for some of you, all right? The cooling measure portion, this is the black color dotted line is the period in which I had shown you based on the cooling measures, okay? Okay, don't blink, And then there's this part, the red part, okay? This red part had altogether 9 cooling measures, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the rest of it are 1 cooling measure of the black part. Okay, so we want to have an idea, why are there so many cooling measures? Okay, then I want to show you what happened. Can you see that the start of this red box here, the bottom left corner, started from the support line, went up very short period of time, crossed the first resistance line, still don't want to stop, second resistance line, still don't want to stop, and it almost hit the third resistance line already, okay? And that's why there is a need for cooling measures to be in place. Otherwise, it will break the third resistance line already, okay? So I suspect that is the reason why there were actually 9 cooling measures, because there was an intent by our government to protect the integrity of the landscape, which is our economy. All right, so you can see that. I hope you all can see that. And then finally, of course, we gave the debt blow, which is the ABSD and TDSR, and then prices went down. Then when it went down here, okay, there was a relaxation to stimulate the market again. So why is there a relaxation? Well, I mean, isn't it good to have the prices go down? Then if there's a relaxation, it means that the intent of the government is to actually stimulate the economy, and therefore I can understand from that or infer from that that it's not the government's agenda to bring the prices down, but to bring it to a safety or safe level. Okay, so I hope you're on the same page with me on that. All right, so 9 cooling measures in the red box alone. Why? Okay, so I went back to this part and then I realized something. 1997, the Asian financial crisis, we broke this yellow resistance line, okay? And we went into bubble, property bubble, all right? So this was not safe, and therefore we cannot allow this to happen. I feel that is probably where the guideline for and these are all my opinion based on a very simple chart that I've drawn for you. So it's to avoid a property bubble. So look at this, ladies and gentlemen, 45 years. How many times have we crossed the yellow line, ladies and gentlemen? How many times? Okay, so are we in property bubble? Okay, that is the question that I hope that you all feel something together with me today. All right, hope this has been helpful with most of you. And now I'm going to show you the next chart. The next chart is my favorite chart, okay, because I think very few people, including yourself, will have seen it before. Okay, what I've done was I have superimposed both the private property price index and the HDB resale price index into one chart, and all the data is from data.gov.sg. And let's have a look. Look at this. The blue represents the private PPI, the red represents the HDB resale price index. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, which is the support for which? Okay, it is interesting to note that the HDB resale price index has been a firm support for the PPI. Okay, and the question is, what determines the HDB resale price index? Okay, who determines the pricing of the property? The HDB. Is it by market forces or is it determined by HDB valuation? All right, so there's actually control. The second thing to note is private constitutes about 20 to 30% of the whole total count of properties, whereas the HDB constitutes 70%, up to 70% to 80% of the total count of properties. Question is, can the 30% crash the 70%? Okay, that's a question you have to ask yourself. Okay, so now that you have understand that, let's go into the 3 ideas that I want you to leave with today, okay, so that you can make your investment with your ERA agents together. All right, so the well-known factors to consider are location, accessibility, convenience, low pricing, freehold versus leasehold, as well as rental yield. Okay, so what constitutes good location? Next to MRT, definitely. Away from cemeteries. CCR, is it better than OCR? Surrounded by condos, surrounded by HDB, which one is actually better? Okay, so I'm going to show you this picture. Okay, this is a Kampong Santing. All right, so is this a good location for investment? Okay, well, good news is if you're invested in this place, maybe you would be a millionaire. Why? Because this is none other than Bishan, and in 2019 alone, 15 HDB flats were sold above $1 million. Okay, so we have millionaire HDB owners in Bishan itself. Okay, 15 transactions. All right, so Bishan was definitely the site of a World War battle. Okay, and this is actually a cemetery area. All right, so is this a good location? So again, good is a variable. Okay, it depends on you. Okay, are you looking at capital growth? All right, Ngee Ann City, is it a good location? Well, it used to be a cemetery as well. Dobby God used to be a cemetery as well. These are places, okay, that had graves in them. Okay, but how are the pricings doing? All right, look at that. Orchard is considered a good location. Why? Just look at in the last 12 months. Okay, we have PSF transacting above 4,006, and then we have a unit that was sold for 52 million. Okay, so definitely these are very good locations. Okay, by definition, if you are rich, why not? You know, so think about this. You know, does it mean that your own biases, are they definitely the right biases? Okay, so explore it with your agent, talk to them. Okay, talk to us, and then we will help you to make that decision. So what is a good location? It depends on whether you're buying for investment or own stay. And then I want you to take note of these 2 things: who will rent from you and who will buy from you at a higher price. Before you actually execute and buy the property, you need to decide. Okay, you need to be able to answer these 2 questions. All right, so I'm going to share you the first strategy. Look for growth story. This is very, very important. Okay, growth story. What is growth story? So let's look at this project. Okay, I'm actually in charge of this project. It's called Park Colonial. Okay, and so 805 units and located just on top of Woodleigh MRT station, and it's opposite from Woodleigh Residences. Okay, and it is near to the integrated transport hub. Okay, which is so-called underground air-conditioned bus interchange. Okay, and it's also connected to the mall, connected to the MRT. Okay, and therefore, and it is also next to a international school, Stanford American International School. All right, so this is a brief introduction of the location. Okay, but isn't all projects going to be the same? Okay, next to MRT, certain features and things like that. I will bring out something different in the next slide. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of your agents will be showing you this thing called master plan. Okay, so this from URA. It details the plans that the government will execute over a 5-year period. Okay, and it takes reference from this thing called the concept plan. All right, which is over a longer period of time. All right, so the brownish yellow things, the brown areas represent the residential areas. Okay, and of course the blue represents commercial. So what is A? A is Park Colonial, B is Woodleigh MRT station, okay, C is the underground bus interchange, and you have D, okay, an international school. All right, will it move away? Think about that. Then E, there's a green lung, okay. How many places that you buy today, the government is going to set aside, allocate and build a green lung for you to breathe clean, fresh air, okay? Is that worth something to you, ladies and gentlemen? All right, and I wanted to show you something called X, okay? X is something that happens in the master plan, the current master plan, that indicates that one day, maybe in the next or the next master plan, it may be developed into something else. All right, so the government has certain plans earmarked for this area, and it could be anything. But one thing I have to note, whenever the government plans, because land is so scarce in Singapore, okay, there will be a riot if we anyhow devalue the land, the use of the land. Therefore, usually there will be a higher intensity and usage of the land, and therefore bringing you better value. Okay, so this is a prediction. All right, and you have to read up the data to find out whether this is true in this case as well. All right, so as a potential buyer looking at this location, all right, can you see that you will have future amenities? Currently don't have. There's no mall just opposite you. There is no bus interchange. There's only the MRT. There's no now it's not accessible for the park. You know, so in the future, in the near future, when all these are ready, will there be tenants who want to move to this area just because it is a better place? All right, so you can see that whenever there is a growth plan, there's a growth story for a particular area, the future is brighter, and therefore the prices might go higher. Why? Very simple. Developers are going to be interested because they have a story to tell, and the story is not their story. The story is the URA master plan, which is an initiative by the government to develop the land. All right, so things to note, MRT is a very important factor if you intend to rent out. Why? Very simple. Accessibility for the tenants, and typically they appreciate quicker because the demand is stronger. The fact being that driving is no longer cheap. A lot of people are turning to public transport, and therefore this gives you additional convenience. All right, so the thing to note, what is the growth story that I wanted to indicate for Park Colonial? Very simple. Okay, how often can you buy a property whereby the government builds a town around you? Okay, question is, whose money is being used to actually build this town, to develop this whole area? Okay, taxpayers' money, your money, my money. Okay, but who gets to benefit? Definitely only those who have a property who are vested in this area. They will be able to get or derive the value from this property. Okay, so these full development benefits will arrive or will be derived in a few years when the town is getting its shape. All right, so this is where you need to understand when what Marvin says by going into growth areas is very simple. Look for that story. Jurong Lakeside, is there a story there? HSR, the high-speed rail, is there a story there? Okay, Jewel, if you are near to airport, what kind of tenant profile are you likely to get? You'll get cabin crew, air stewardess, and even home buyers who are working in the airlines as well. Okay, so you need to look at that. Okay, you need to look at the decentralization plan that the government has, and this thing called growth areas under URA master plan. All right, and this value will be derived when you own a property there. Okay, remember, the monies that is spent will be public money, but you as an owner, having a property, having a stake there, you will benefit from it. Okay, so the question is, when this whole thing is unfolded in years to come, what will the price value and the subsequent plots of land that are sold, what will the value be? Okay, so the property value of this Park Colonial is actually very good. Okay, you can see that we are on the second one, 91% sold. Okay, and next to our neighbor, the Trevor, we are about $169 PSF higher than them, but yet we are 90% sold. In other words, okay, price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Okay, purchasers, they appreciate the value in this location. All right, and they are willing to pay this because they know that they are likely to be able to get a higher exit. Somebody is willing to buy higher than them. Let me explain this to you, okay? The property that is opposite of Park Colonial is actually Woodley Residences, and in the article, it was actually estimated that the average selling price will be about 2,000 per square foot. If you bought Park Colonial at 1,007, 1,008, you would have already built in a $200 PSF upside. Okay, so we talk about potential. All right. Why do I say that that is something that is given? Well, very simple. They purchase at 2,000. They definitely would want to make $300 before they sell. Everybody purchase on average of 2,000, and therefore they will have to sell about 2,003 estimated. Okay, at that point in time, at what price can you let go your Park Colonial at? Okay, maybe 2001, 2002. Okay, depends on the market, definitely, but definitely you will have an upside built in due to land sales nearby. What if subsequent land sales are even more exciting? Okay, then your upside will be even higher. All right. The second strategy that I want to share with you is to ensure rentability. And then if you look at this, very simple. All right. These are two projects on the right. They are already TOP. They already have rental. And between them, okay, in this period of time, about 600 units that were transacted. All right. So it's a 2 years period, no doubt. But having said that, they are potential tenants. Why? Very simple. When Park Colonial or the Trevor or the Woodley, they TOP, these tenants, they will be staying in a property that is already much older. Okay. They may want to change to something that is newer, whereby they have warranty on their appliances. Therefore, if the attributes are similar, for example, St. Reed's and Poise Residences, they are just beside the Potong Pasir MRT station, then therefore, since it's similar, they can easily shift to one MRT down the road, which is Woodley. All right, and Park Colonial is just there. All right, so I'm going to show the next one. Okay, and of course, when you shift to Park Colonial, you are closer to Bidadari Park, you are closer to the Woodley Mall and the ITH. All right, so I'm going to show you a bit more so that you have a bit more confidence, and you can apply this to all your investment selections. Okay, so in just that area itself, nearby to Park Colonial, you have Poise Residences and Ritz, Senet Residence, 8 Woodley and Nin Residences. Between them, one year period, there are 803 rental transactions. Okay, so these people are qualified to be your immediate tenants when Park Colonial TOP. So do you think that they will want to have such a unit when it TOPs? All right. So the question that you may have is, oh, but Marvin, it has already been TOP. Can I still buy Park Colonial? Now, I told you that there are 3 strategies, right? But I can tell you the most important 2 will be the first 2. All right. Does it have a growth story? Because if it has a growth story, this growth story is not going to end today. It's not going to end tomorrow. It may end 5 years, 10 years later. This story will continue to play out. There will be more transactions, and the story can play itself out in a very, very nice way for you. All right. So the first thing, there must be growth. Second thing, I've already showed you that it is highly rentable. There is no fear that you will not get a tenant for Park Colonial. So can you still buy? Definitely. But before that, let me just show you this. 9th of April, circuit breaker started already. All right, there was a transaction for Avon Park just beside Park Colonial, and the owner actually made $1.7 million. $1.7 million. Okay, and that works out to a CAGR of 4%. But previous high was 1.19 million at 158%, and the annualized profit of 12%. In other words, you have a range, ladies and gentlemen, 4 to 12%. And the thing that I want you to know that I think is you can also get up to 12% in this location. Isn't that interesting? For a short period of time. How long was that? 8 years only. Ladies and gentlemen, If you have an investment holding period of 5 to 8 years, you could be like this owner if you purchase the right property with the right conditions. Okay, so between these two, you can see that sometimes holding too long may not be right. At a certain point in time, when the property is getting older, you need to spend on taking care of it, and therefore, when that happens, there will be maintenance costs. So sometimes you need to touch base with your ER agent so that you can check with them whether when is the right time for you to switch into a better performing asset. Okay, good. All right, so I'm just gonna show you a little bit what it was like when we were marketing Park Colonial a few years ago in 2018. And I'll just stop there because it's going to be a long video, but I'll just show you this part. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, could it be that you have also seen Park Colonial and you're one of those who came but didn't manage to buy? But there must be a reason why there were throngs of people looking at this. In other words, they were excited about the story. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, the story. So when you have a very compelling story, the interest is very, very strong. Therefore, the next time you go for shopping, check with your ER agents. What are the exciting stories, growth stories that you can look into for your purchase? All right, so the answer is a very simple yes. You can still look at Park Colonial, and I will show you these are some of the units that are available, okay, and the pricing, and I can tell you that they are pretty good buys as well. Okay, your ERA salesperson, they have been trained how to look at this. They will be able to advise you further. Okay, one thing I want to want you to take note is layouts do matter as well. For example, this 2-bedroom, okay, stack 49. All right, this 2-bedroom is a very interesting one. Can you see that you have a ensuite unit, the master room, which is attached to the balcony? Then over here on the other side, you have a bedroom as well. So we call this the dumbbell layout, okay? But what is interesting, one of my buyers asked, is it possible for us to maybe just enclose this area and turn this into a room as well? So it becomes a 2-bedroom, okay? So the question is for you to explore, all right? So this is actually a very interesting layout that a lot of investors look at, all right? And then let's move on to the 3-bedroom, okay? And this is the 5-bedroom. Now, if you're looking at this particular location, you buy into the bidadari story, you realize that people are paying $400,000-$600,000 for HDB flat, okay? Then what kind of upside that will have for that area, okay? Look at this. You have a 5-bedroom, and this is the only 5-bedroom that is available in that whole area. If you do a search, you know, and it's available at Park Colonial. So this is definitely something that you would want to explore if you are thinking of investing, okay, and investing in a large property. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is the one. This is the 5-bedroom over here. Okay, and so it's starting from 2.878 million. Okay, very reasonable. Basically, the Avon Park owner, they could have taken the cash and just purchased full cash for this. Okay, the good news, ladies and gentlemen, is just a few days ago, the developer, for the very first time, has given a star buy promotion for Park Colonial. If you want to purchase a property that will have no problem getting future tenants to occupy your unit as an investment property, then why not consider and contact your ERA agents to explore the discounts that the developer are giving here. 18% for the 3-bedroom class, 18,000 for the 3-bedroom classic, 26,000 for the 2-bedroom deluxe, as well as 38,000 for the 3-bedroom deluxe. All right. Okay, so that is for Park Colonial. Let's apply this to another project. All right, we'll do it very quickly. Okay, in the past, I was also in charge of this project called the Navian. All right, and what happened is the Navian is situated in District 14. All right, in Jalan Eunos. And these are some of the attributes about it. Okay, so we want to talk about stories and all that. Yeah, so first thing, of course, we have to compare with the surrounding pricing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your agents will do that for you. All right, so to see whether are you buying at too high a price or lower. What if you can buy freehold at leasehold pricing? Isn't that good? All right, and Navian was such a property. It was actually marketed at exclusively by ERA. Okay, and it was indeed a freehold at leasehold pricing, but it has other attributes as well. Okay, one thing, it was very near to the PIE and it's also very near to the airport. Okay, if you are staying in Jurong, definitely your property cannot be touted as near to the airport. But if you are staying at a very convenient location such as Jalan Eunos, then therefore you can be just 15 kilometers to the airport, which is an easy drive. Okay, all right. So over here, you are also about 2 kilometers from Park Place Residences, which is the Paya Lebar Quarters Master Plan. Okay, so we talk about growth story. The pricing of this whole map here actually derive its increase from the growth story of the Paya Lebar Quarters, as well as the Geylang, no, not the Geylang, sorry, as well as the Kallang growth area. Okay, under URA Master Plan, Kallang and Paya Lebar were earmarked as growth areas, and therefore Geylang being in between also benefit from it. Okay, so these are the analyses that your agents will be able to share with you if you ask them for it. Okay, so let's look at the immediate, at that point in time in 2017, okay, there was actually announcement about the Geylang Serai being done up, all right, so 10,000 square meter hub will house the CC and so on and so forth. So that is again development story, all right. Paya Lebar Quarters, okay, the Paya Lebar SingPost area will be transformed into this very beautiful area, okay, and of course we have PSF hitting almost above 2,000 per square foot. Okay, so that is actually very, very good indicative of the confidence that the consumers like yourself had in the Paya Lebar area. So of course, if the pricing went up for this area, it will flow out into the subsequent areas such as Jalan Eunos. So this became one of the growth stories that this property could derive its investment growth from. All right, so you can see the interest was actually very high as well. Then of course you have Changi Jewel, okay, and this place is really beautiful. I think you agree with me. Okay, so can't wait to go back to there after the circuit breaker. All right, so these are, and of course MRT. All right, how would you like it that you are seated in a plot of land whereby you are surrounded by 4 MRTs within 1 kilometers of you? Okay, and that's exactly what Navian was at that point in time. And at that point in time when we were marketed, the downtown line was actually open. So you have easy access to Chinatown, so have you. But that is the first thing we talk about, the growth area. The second thing to look at, ladies and gentlemen, would be this thing called rental demand. Okay, can you rent it out? So I did this analysis and I did a 500 meters radius from the Navian to check what are the units rental transactions that were done in this area over a 1-year period, okay, September to August 17. All right, so the total number of transactions was 309, but let me show you something very interesting. 87% of the transactions happened within 200 meters of Navian. Okay, this whole thing shows you 500 meters, but 87% of the transaction happened within 200 meters of the Navian. Ladies and gentlemen, in other words, people are renting this area for that particular location. Do you understand what I'm trying to share with you? Okay, so then when I saw this, then I went to understand what exactly the tenants like about this area. Okay, so then therefore I have already determined the tenants for the Navian. Now the thing about this is Navian is already 100% sold out. Okay, and what was the selling point for the Navian? It was not the MRT, ladies and gentlemen. It was the bus stop. They had a bus stop that is located just outside of the Navian, and on that bus stop you have more than 20 bus services that takes you to everywhere in Singapore. Okay, the question I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, bus versus MRT, which one break down more? Okay, so you understand what I'm trying to say. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have missed this, okay, can you still buy this location? The answer is yes. Okay, right now, Eunos Mansion has been en bloc, okay, and it is now Urban Treasures. It's also located just beside the Navian. Okay, this is actually Urban Treasures, and this is the Navian over here, and they share the same attribute. Everything is about the same, except that this is a larger property, okay, with more units, and it has these attributes as well, okay, which shares with the Navian, 500 meters from 1 kilometer from Mahabodhi School. Okay, but right now you have an opportunity. Why? Because they are offering a very, very special price. Okay, can you see? Transacted in November 19, okay, 863,000. Right now, the developer, they are offering 808. Okay, you have a saving of 60,000 if you take action today. All right. The next one that I want to show you is this. Okay, and you can see that the saving will be about 80,000 for this particular unit. They have the same floor plan and similar facing. Okay, so you have it better. Why? Because during this COVID period, okay, prices didn't really go down very much, but transactions did. Okay, so to excite most of the market, okay, developers are giving small discount star buy units. Okay, it's not a general price drop. It's just something to get the volume going again, and therefore this is your opportunity to buy at a very, very attractive price. Okay, so we have one more over here, and you can see that the savings for this particular unit is about 136,000. Okay, so ask your ERA agents, okay, to share with you if you are interested, because you will easily be able to find a tenant for your property if you were to hold this as an investment property. Okay, 8% lower. Wow, that is very, very good discount. Very good discount. Okay, all right. So over here you have another unit that having the same promotion as well, 6.8% lower. Okay, every dollar counts. Okay, every dollar counts. Now I'm coming to the final one. Okay, and I really thank you for staying with me. Okay, because I took a bit of time for the front part. Okay, but I hope that you have benefited from that. The third strategy is this: buy as early as you can. What does it mean? It's not what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show it to you. Okay, what I mean is when the product is launched or before it is launched, it is in a pre-launch period. That is when you need to go in. Why? Because you get access to the cheapest unit, you get the best units availability, and you have more control. Why? Because you get to choose whatever you want. You understand, ladies and gentlemen? You have a choice. You have a choice. You get to choose. All right, so this is something that I want you to show you in data. Okay, this is Treasure at Tampines. You can see that when it started marketing in 2009 March, okay, you can see the makeup of the purchasers. Okay, the volume is also stated 275 purchase, out of which you have the blue color will be the private address buyers, the orange will be HDB address buyers, and of course you have the green color, which is the others, what we call the first time buyer or the foreigners. Okay, so interesting. You will realize as the months go by, something happens. Okay, something very interesting happens. Less and less HDB address owners purchase. Okay, why? Chances are the pricing has gone up for some of the units. Okay, and they have already selected the unit that they want to upgrade to, and therefore they chose the best unit for themselves. Okay, and there will be less of these very, very nice units available, but not barring the investment value. Remember I told you, if your strategy 1 and strategy 2 is in place, growth area and rentability is a possible buy already, candidate. Okay, but if you get to buy at the beginning, that will be the best because you have 2 options. Okay, let's see another project. Okay, I think Park Clementi's has been doing well during this circuit breaker period, and you can see the transactions happening over here, and you see that the HDB is also make up the beginning part, but you have a lot of first time and foreign buyers over here. All right, so this is Park Clementi's. Let's look at something that is more high level. Okay, and this one already has been marketing since 2014, Marina One Residences, but many buyers have been coming in to look at this because they are buying into the growth story of this project. Okay, And you can see that the HDB buyers, even though the PSF is probably a lot of people feel it's out of reach, but I think you'll be surprised to see that a lot of HDB address purchases have actually come into at the beginning as well. Okay, so look at this. If you are coming at the beginning, therefore you will get the best price because prices tend to go up. You get the lower level. You get to buy the cheapest unit if you're buying for investment, and that will give you a lot more runway. Okay, why? Very simple. When we talk about an average PSF, let's say of 1,007, okay, for a project that is being sold, they will not be everybody at 1,007. Some will be coming at 1,005. Some will be coming at 1,009. So there's actually an upper limit and a lower limit. If you were able to buy a 3-bedroom at 1,005 versus the other people buying 3-bedroom at 1,007, actually your rental yield will actually be higher. All right, your rental, because why? Rent is about the same for a 3-bedroom in a particular project, but it depends on the price that you have actually paid. Okay, so you will actually have an internal upside of 200 per square foot as well, because you purchase at 1,005 versus another person buying a 3-bedroom at 1,007. Okay, all right. The last part is this. As part of your strategy to buy as early as you can, all right, so that you get the full benefits of it, you also need to buy as young as possible. Okay, what does it mean? Let's look at this property. Let's say if it's $1 million, okay, and the loan amount works out, first property, 750,000. The estimated rent for this property collected is about 3,000. But guess what? If you are young, girl, all right, the monthly installment, okay, assuming 30 years loan tenure, is about 2,772. Versus if you are 45, you decided, or you missed the boat a few times and you decided to buy your first property now, then you're looking at 3,794. Why? Because basically he can only take a 20-year loan at 75%. Okay, so look at this. There is a bit of difference. Why? Very simple. The rent is coming in at 3,000. It will pay for this monthly installment for the 28-year-old, but the 45-year-old will have to top up. Okay, and that will be additional cost to you. And we have not calculated the stamp duty. The maintenance fee as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you this one and I will end my presentation today. All right, and this is the last part. So as part of an investment strategy, okay, I would recommend that you go for both capital gains as well as rental appreciation. All right, so for a property that is valued at 1,005 purchase price, okay, basically if it is rented out for 4,005, this is probably a 3-bedroom. Okay, and I assume not 30 years loan tenure, but 25 years. Okay, some people, they want to save a bit of the interest. Okay, so we are looking at a higher monthly installment. Maybe this is an older person, all right? So they have shorter loan tenure. So what happened is, this monthly installment is actually higher than the rent. Therefore, he has to top up. So there's a top up of 269, plus the maintenance fee is about 569. Therefore, over 5 years, he will have to pay additional topping up from his own. So this increases his cost, ladies and gentlemen, increases his cost, okay? But the good news is, who is paying the rental, the interest for you? The tenant is paying the interest for you. Okay, you can see this as my colleague Neo Chi Sing mentioned. You can see this as a forced savings. Okay, how often can you actually top up only $300 and then the tenant pays $1,000 over in terms of interest for you? Okay, that's a very, very good deal, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so if you look at this, ultimately what happens is, let's say we assume not a CAGR of 6%, but only 2%, very, very conservative one. Over 5 years, this is your selling price. Okay, after factoring everything, including your so-called your passive income, what happens is your net profit is about 300,000. Okay, this net profit, I already excluded agent fee of 2% for you for selling the property. Okay, so you have 300,000 net profit, okay, over your investment, upfront investment of 422,000. That works out to a return on equity of 71%. In other words, your 422,000 in 5 years help you to earn 300,000. Good or no good? And that is a very conservative 2%. what if we go for a good property with good growth story and rentability? You may get even higher rent. You may be getting a higher HEGA as well. All right. So this is actually very good news for many of you. So ladies and gentlemen, in summary, okay, 3 things to note. Look for growth story. That's number 1. Okay, check your agents in the areas that you're interested in. What are the relevant growth story? And they will point you to the investment properties as well. Second thing, look at the rentability. If somebody is going to take care of the interest for you, your only commitment is everything up to TOP. All right, somebody will be taking care of the monthly installment for you. That is actually very, very good investment to ensure that you do not have additional costs. All right, and of course the third one is to buy as early as possible. Okay, ask your property agent what is the upcoming new launch that is coming. Okay, can you please compare that new launch and this other property I'm interested? Okay, and then show it to me and I can make a decision. This is probably the best way for you. But ladies and gentlemen, these are strategies that apply only if you are confident in the market. And my question to you, after analyzing the property market for 45 years and seeing that in 2 times in the history of the Singapore property market, only 2 times that the private price index actually went below the HDB price index, are you able to take confidence that the government has set up a very good safety net called HDB, okay, to protect the integrity of this market? All right. So with that, I will end my presentation for today, and I hope that you have benefited from this talk. All right. Thank you.
All right. Hey, thank you, Marvin, for such a good sharing. Okay, for those who have questions, right, please feel free to key into the Q&A, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. You know, something that stands out for me in Marvin's presentation is the detailed sharing on the development of bidadari. For those who are looking to park your money on an additional property, this is definitely a potential area to look at. Unlike previous sessions, these insights are really something different that Marvin brings to the table, because he is the project division director at Park Colonia and has done all the research for us. Shall we click the raise hand button to show our quick appreciation to Marvin?
Thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, Marvin, thank you. Congratulations. Seems like there are a lot of hands raised. Hopefully, I think most of them are impressed with your 3 untold investment strategies to identify an upside potential of new launches. Next, based on the previous questions, experiences, we realized that our speakers need more time to go through the questions. So with that in mind, do allow me to make a few announcements before we invite Marvin back to answer these questions. If you would like to get hold of today's presentation slides, it will also be made available within the next 24 hours. For ERA teammates, the presentation slides will be uploaded to my ERA, Training and Seminars tab, Ultimate Consumer Seminar. Currently, our past Ultimate Consumer Seminar slides have already been uploaded on my ERA. For ERA clients, please feel free to request the presentation slides from the agent who has invited you today, and they will send you the slides within the 1-2 days time. Next up, we have a new series of consumer talk coming right up. All right, this is after our T-Talk series concluded today. Okay, it's called Hear from the Buyer series, where we invite our very own ERA teammates who have bought new projects to share insights into how or into why they decided to put their money to work. All right, as you can see, the upcoming one, the first session of the new series is happening this Friday on the 5th of June. Okay, look at the timing, it's 8 p.m., no longer at 5 p.m. All right, because we know that the circuit breaker has ended. Some of the consumers, our clients, have been going to work right now, and they might be back only at night. So we are hosting the session only at night, 8 p.m. All right. So we'll be joined by ERA Division Director Kelvin Cheng to share with us why he chose to invest in Treasure at Tampines. As you can recall, Treasure at Tampines is one of the top selling projects outside core central regions. All right. Congratulations to your good buy, Kelvin. Now, as one of the industry experts, don't you think these people know what they are buying into, right? Okay, join us and hear all the reasons straight from the horse's mouth. That's all the announcement we have today. Shall we invite Marvin back for the Q&A? All right, Marvin, are you still
Okay.
around with us?
Yes, I am. I
All
am.
right.
Yes.
Okay, today is our last session. We cannot let you go easily. All right. Look,
Yeah.
Marvin, thanks for sharing with us your strategies. It seems very convincing. May I ask you, if you yourself have invested in a new project or new condo in recent years?
My goodness, do you ask this to every speaker? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, most of them kena this question.
Most will kena this. Okay. I think maybe I'm one of those that maybe you should not ask this question. Okay, because I actually bought Park Colonial myself. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're not the
Yeah.
first one. You're not the first one. I still
Yeah.
remember Neil Chusei was sharing about him as a project DD for Park Clementes. He bought one as well. And that, true enough, that weekend sales seems to spike. So let's see. Tell us the reason why, all right?
Okay. What happened was that definitely the reason why is because I bought into the story, the growth area of the Bidadari. And because Park Colonial is located very, very close to the city. Okay, it's only about 4 or 5 MRT stops. You are into the Orchard Road area already. So it means that I can actually have a tenant who is working in the CBD area, okay, in the Orchard Road vicinity. So I would like to have such access to such high quality tenants as well. Okay, the second thing is that accessibility. Every stop left and right from Woodley, you have a mall. All right, you have the Poi Center, you have Serangoon next, which is a very huge mall. You have a Hougang Mall, you have Heartland Mall. Every MRT, you have a mall. And just take an average of 2 minutes for each MRT stop. Basically, what it means to my tenant who's going to rent the property from me, they exit from the unit, they take the MRT, is just a doorstep away. And the next moment, 2 minutes later, they are in one of the malls getting their food. And they can try all the food in both directions. Okay?
Right, Marvin. So did you just say that you actually buy this property for investment, just to rent it out?
Yes, definitely. Just for
Wow.
investment.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Continue. Sorry, I interrupted you a bit.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So I think at the end of the day, it works better in terms of making your money work for you if you are investing, because somebody is paying the interest for you. I think that is something you would like, right? That if you purchase something, somebody is paying a part of it for you. I think that is everything that the investor should look out for, and that is also the premise for investment as well.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from the horse's mouth. Wow. This is no pun intended for the series, the new series you're promoting, right? Hear from the buyer series. Right. So same here. You have Marvin here who preach about the prospects of buying in terms of investment purposes, and now he himself have also just shared with us that he had bought Bidadari, a project near Bidadari, all right, which is Park Colonia. So I believe, in case someone missed, right, did you go through the special prices, discount, and stuff like that? Maybe you want to refresh that thing again, the discount in prices.
Okay, this is already made available to all the ERA salesperson. Okay, so if you guys are interested, you can get it from them. But let me try to get it for you.
Yeah, just one quick one, all right? We don't want to miss all the good deals that's available for consumers to get it before the promotion goes away.
Yeah, okay, this is the very, very first time that the developer has given a discount. Okay, from day one until today, that you will never get this chance again. Okay, so guys, if you are looking for a good buy and you believe in the story that I've just shared with you about Bidadari, estate, then you should reach out to your ERA salesperson today. All right, so these are the figures. Okay, and for the first time, we have had so many buyers coming to us trying to ask for $5,000 discount, $3,000. The developer has never given it a single time. And this is the very, very first time that you guys are able to get access to this. So please take advantage of this situation.
Okay, Marvin, there's this quick question from Mr. Eddie, all right? Any good recommendation units for the development that you invested? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So for this particular property, basically 805 units, any unit is good because if you are buying for investment, okay, it's all about the pricing, how whether you can buy as low as possible. So if you are buying for investment, I highly recommend that you sit down with your ERA agent, and then you go through the PSF to see whether you are buying at the lowest possible. Then next, go into the unit that you prefer. So as you move up, you can arrive at a sweet spot. Okay, so this is what I would recommend. Okay, but there's one thing that is interesting about here is that you also need to make sure that you don't have too much competition. So I would highly recommend our 5 bedroom. Okay, because they are luxury grade. Okay, it comes with their own private lift. Okay, and in this vicinity, if you look nearby and across, you will not find another new launch with 5 bedroom in this vicinity.
Okay, hold
Therefore,
on, Marvin.
yes,
5 bedroom. Are you referring to customers who want to buy for their own stay or for rental?
I think for those who are buying 5 bedroom, usually it will be for their own stay.
Okay.
But because you are in a very good, located in a growth area like Bidadari, okay, then therefore, over time, when every amenity is ready and launched, okay, and then maybe new plots of land are being launched by the government, all right, then the pricing will actually appreciate, and therefore you will have a good investment capital gain, likely to get a good capital gain over there as well. And
Okay.
remember, I showed in the earlier, I just finished with that. I showed in the earlier master plan, there was this thing called X, right? Subject to detailed planning. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a wild card. Okay, right now, what is sitting on it is actually colonial black and white houses. That's why we are called Park Colonial. All right. And the question is, these items have historical value. My question is, what can replace it? It has to be of higher value than historical property. Okay, so
All
I'm
right.
very excited in the future of the area, and I think I hope that I will see the fruit of my investment.
Okay. Along the same line about sizes, right? We have this client, Fiona Chan, who's also asking what size to buy for rental. Is it 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom?
Yeah.
Since you mentioned about 5 bedroom is suitable for family stay, what about those for what to buy for rental? And this also, I think, another Kelvin Chen, he's also asking for investment property. Would it be better to buy 1, 2, or 3 bedroom? It's the same question. Maybe you can just wrap it up and hopefully can answer to Fiona and Kelvin. Sorry, before I answer Kelvin, I hope you are not the same ERA division director. If you are, maybe you can just wave at me. Okay, then make sure you will find out more about Treasure at Tampines on Friday, whether is it for investment and homestay. But for now, Marvin, you want to share with us more insights for Park Colonia.
Okay, so you are talking about 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or 3 bedroom. Actually, I would say,
what size to buy for rental?
Yeah, actually, at the end of the day, it really depends on you. Okay, what is your financial standing? If you can go for bigger, go for bigger. Okay, like for myself, I went for a 3C2, which is a classic. All right, so it means that it doesn't have a maid's room. So what happens is, why did I go for that instead of a 3 bedroom deluxe? Because it has the 3 bedroom deluxe will come with a maid's room. All right. If I'm doing it for own stay, definitely I want a maid's room. But if I'm renting out, why do I want to pay for additional so-called capital outlay? All right. So that I can derive the most from the property. So I would recommend that you sit down with your ERA salesperson. They will go through the finances with you. And if the bank is willing to give you a IPA, indicative so-called in principle approval for the loan, it means the bank taking the risk deems that you are qualified to loan this amount of money from them, even at a 3.5% interest rate spike in future. They deem you safe enough for them. Okay, therefore I think you should also consider, getting as big as you can, because the next property you buy, you will attract higher additional buyer stamp duty.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we have this Tony Chow. Okay, Tony Chow, to your first question, any seminar in Chinese? Good question. We can discuss internally and see if we can conduct any seminar where we can bring in a fluent Mandarin speaker to conduct a seminar in Chinese, but it's something that we are really looking into it. And then your second question, this is something that relates to what Marvin had just shared. Any discount for 5-room for Park Colonia?
Okay, at the moment, no. Okay, because I think you all understand economics, right? Basically, low supply, so higher price. Okay, but remember, price is what you pay, but value is what you get. There is no other competition nearby. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that.
Okay, so basically the chart that you're showing us right now, these are the special discount and price for the 8, 9, 10, 12 units available, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay,
Only 12
and
units.
once sold out, no more discount?
No more discount.
Okay,
At the moment,
so
yes.
wow, there you go. For those who are looking to park your money for investment property or property for rental, this is exactly your cup of tea, right? Okay, good. So now let's move on to the next question, Marvin. You like to answer, how about this anonymous attendee question?
Okay,
Those
which
who
question is
buy
that?
bootleg and other new launches recently, about the prices, because is this something that you like to answer?
Okay, sure, no problem. I think that's a very interesting question. Let me look at I can't see the, can you read the question to me?
Okay,
Don't mind?
this is something very some people say it's challenging question, because those who bought bootleg and other new launches recently, they are not laughing now because some of the prices have came down, or he's also don't know whether is he correct or incorrect. But anyway, do you have any insights about the prices
Okay,
for projects around the area,
okay.
or are they suffer some drop? Or what's next for these people? And what is the advice you will give for potential buyer looking to buy into the growth area? At the same time, they want to make sure that the prices are secured.
Okay, great. I like to take this question because I think this is what a lot of people would feel when they look at pricing itself. Okay, but having said that, are you buying the property for a short term or a long term? That's the question that you really need to address. So I want to show you this screen. Am I able to share this screen?
You already sharing?
Already sharing, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see the red color chart?
Yep, I'm looking at the open, high, low market.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, great. Okay, so for this participant, your question, basically, are you looking at this chart, okay, which is near term, or are you looking at this chart? So if you're looking at this chart, definitely you will feel that you're unhappy because your prices have actually dropped. But what if you look at the long term and you realize that, in another 3 or 4 years, my property is going to appreciate because of all the growth story, and then I am not going to be paying for the interest, my tenant is going to pay for my interest, and then there are master plan surprises that will come in time to come, and these are probably going to be additional points whereby you may have a capital gain. Okay, so I would advise all those who have already purchased, okay, take a look back at this one, all right? And remember, in the long run, 45 years, the capital annualized growth rate is about 6.5% for Singapore property. Okay, so I hope this helps our buyers out there to have confidence in our Singapore market.
All right, thank you, Marvin. For those who are still having concern, I hope the slides that Marvin presented really give you a good insights, so that you don't have to have worried about what you have already purchased. And for those who are thinking, I think one of the things that Marvin showed very, very clearly is like what Willie Tay actually asked: buy as early as you can. Yes, I think Marvin just share with us. He bought as early as he can when the project is just launched. All right, I think that's also one of the. I think Marvin, there's one slide at the beginning you talk about amateur buyers, all the traits about all these amateur buyer. I think this is a good slide. Maybe you can just share. All right, and that also, ladies and gentlemen, to distinguish ERA trusted advisors. All right, because we have gone through, our agents have gone through so many trainings, and they are all equipped with the relevant skills and knowledge to really advise you properly. So if you have that kind of perception that in the short term that the prices fluctuate and you are worried, you might not have the right person to advise you. So I advise, call a ERA trusted advisor right now after this session to really have this wrong perception corrected, because this will really help you in terms of the future growth and wealth building through property investments. All right. So is there any more, Marvin? Would you like to go on with the other questions?
Okay, let me have a look.
Today there are a lot of questions that come in. Last session, I guess. Oh yeah, there's one very simple one. The CAGR. It relates to your slides just now, the table, right? So how do you find out about the CAGR and what does it stand for?
The CAGR stands for compounded annualized growth rate. Okay, you can do a check on it.
Maybe you can show that slide that shows this. Show that slide.
Because I'm looking at the Q&A right now. Let me go to that slide then.
Yeah, the slide. I remember there's one slide that actually has the...
No, I didn't define it, okay, but I just put it there.
Just flash that. Yeah, there you go. This one.
So if you look at this, okay, let me explain using this, okay. So from the day one, which is 1st June 1990 until 3 days ago, all right, you will find that from this point to this highest point, which I'm going to, it didn't draw, okay. This actually shows the so-called the growth rate per annum. Every year, this investment actually give you a return of 12.73%. Okay, so that is the CAGR. So I use this very much to advise my client. Let's say if they are now in a property, okay, and our agents are able to do that for you as well. If they are now staying in a property that is having a CAGR of about maybe 3 or 4%. So it could be an old property already. So perhaps this asset is not working hard enough for them. In other words, every year they only appreciate about 3%. So what I will do is I will advise them to switch over to another property that has a higher CAGR based on their needs. Okay, so our agents will be able to advise you based on that. Okay, so check out our agents; they will be able to help you with this.
Okay, Marvin, maybe one last question. Okay, especially for Patrick, in case he got your message wrongly. Patrick Lowe's asked you, you just showed that buying early is more expensive with urban treasure. Did you actually say that, or would you like to clarify which is which?
No, actually, I think it's very simple. You know, at the end of the day, price is what you pay and value is what you get. At the end of the day, are you buying it based on the price point? You see, developers are just our business, are like the shop. You know, do you blame Orchard Road for giving GSS and selling things so cheap? You know, but the purpose and the intent of having the sale is to attract more buyers. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of it. In the long run, the project, when it sells out, means that the faster you will be able to put your property up in the open market to sell. So therefore, you will be able to realize your gain later on. We have had even our own agent friends who, after the property has TOP, immediately sell off and make $200,000 or $300,000 and invest in another property. Why? Because it's all about getting the right timing. You know, so I guess at the end of the day, if you realize that the lows are getting higher, okay, so you don't have to worry. The discount is to help the property sell out. Can you imagine if the property don't sell out? You know, you will be competing with the developer and they will be selling at developer's price. You will not be able to sell your property at a higher price because they will be selling at the price that you purchased, slightly higher. Okay, but you want $300 per square foot profit. Therefore, you have to, you should be happy that the developer is selling and selling out. Okay?
Right. Thank you, Marvin. Okay, I know that I said it's the last question, but this is something that is related to my introduction of you just now earlier, Marvin. If you remember, you know, one of the recent accomplishments is that you managed to sell 9 residential units to a single buyer. All right, we cannot let you go on this one because I think those who are listening, those serial buyers, they want to know why you managed to convince them, and then where is it that is something that they're missing out, or if let's say they're a real estate salesperson, they would like to learn something. They are listening to this, they want to learn from you, right? So can you share with us the insider story of why this client, or how did you achieve such a feat? Or why did this client entrusted you with such a huge investment?
I think the first thing to note is that the landscape has changed very much, okay? John, I'm surprised that you asked me this question, but nevertheless, for the benefit of everyone, let me try to share a little bit so that I can add some value. After all, that's the reason why I entered into, or why I do anything as well. Okay, so the thing about that is that the landscape has changed very much. Okay, in fact, in the recent months, we have heard a lot of our ERA salesperson, okay, helping their clients to secure properties even without viewing the property. All right, why are we able to do that? Very simple, because we are trained to take care of the needs of our clients. In other words, we are very meticulous in understanding their needs, okay, so that we can find them the appropriate. What happened is that this client actually has been coming to Singapore for many years already, okay? But every time when he came, he did not buy a single thing until 5 years later he met me, all right? And I brought him to a single property, and then it was not shortlisted, you know, but I spent afternoon understanding what are his requirements. The next time I shortlisted based on his requirements, okay, a few properties, and then I brought him to see, and he was excited with one particular one, okay, and that was the one whereby when I brought him there a second time, okay, he bought 1 unit. The next day he bought the rest of the 8 units, so in total 9 units. Okay, then you will ask, wow, isn't that crazy? You know, why would anybody buy so many units? Very simple. Do you know that, ladies and gentlemen, developers do sometimes offer certain schemes that help you to for you to take advantage of, you know, and it was one of those schemes that the developer offered, and he saw an opportunity for himself. Okay, what is this property? Okay, without naming the property, very simple. I just tell you the attribute. Okay, first thing, it is a townhouse. Secondly,
Wow. Okay. Townhouse is like landed property, right?
landed property inside a condominium facility.
And
Okay,
this, you mentioned she traveled to Singapore, so he's a foreigner who bought a townhouse.
he is a foreigner. Okay?
Wow. Okay. Okay. Tell us more. Tell us more.
Yeah. So you see, the thing is that we all know that landed properties are restricted properties. In other words, if you are not a Singaporean, it's not easy. You have to apply to get approval before you can actually purchase a landed property. You know, but for him, he realized, oh, I am eligible because this is considered a condominium. So when he realized that, he also realized through my sharing with him that in Singapore, there are very, very few new developments that actually have this attribute. In other words, you can go to a condominium and you see a house, a landed house, and because they are not condo status, they are apartment status, you as a foreigner cannot purchase it. So he realized that there was an opportunity. All right, so he decided to do a bulk purchase, and then he will now become the developer and sell the property. So fellow salesperson, if you have a buyer who is a foreigner looking at landed property, you know who to look for. Huh?
Wow. Marvin, good one. All right. Okay. I know that we have promoted a few projects today. Okay, now that you talk about townhouse, is there something that we are marketing currently that have such a feature in case that the current viewer right now, the attendees, there are some foreigners who would like to purchase a landed property as well. So maybe we can give some sharing about some projects that might have such a feature.
I think we have one called White House Residence. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Okay,
that
that's
one
good.
they still have I think it's a corner or semi-D units, okay, and those are foreigner eligible as well. So if purchasers, if you are interested in that, is located very close to Stephen Road MRT station, you know. So and of course, even our boss stay behind lah, huh? You all know where that is. So Jack stays around there.
Good
So
class bungalow.
ERA agents will be able to help you with this purchase.
That's good. Thank you. For those of marketing White House residences, here you go. We managed to put in a shout out for you. Okay, now you talk about this client who bought from you so many units. How do you know this client since they are actually from overseas, right? How does this person know you?
So I mentioned this was actually a referral from one of my so-called clients who I helped them with the rental, you know, and then basically they referred this client to me. He's a foreigner, came, and then so I met up together with this purchaser, and then we went on the tours. Okay, and in fact the deal was concluded through co-booking with Simon Lam also. Yeah, so one of our DDs. Okay, so I think at the end of the day, it's really good to co-broke. Okay, but what was interesting about this was that 5 years, I told you, he has been coming to Singapore. He didn't
Yep.
buy anything, you know, but finally he met me. And I think the thing about me that helped him to feel comfortable was that I was able to understand exactly what he wanted. And I showed him exactly what he wanted. And that was only the second viewing.
Wow, congratulations. So, ladies and gentlemen, all right, as you just heard from Marvin, right, this is not a fluke incident, all right? So, Marvin actually has provided his client a very good advisory services, who become his friend, and then the referral comes in after where he managed to close 9 units with one buyer. Well, we are running out of time, and I think this question just shall conclude our Tea Talk series. Thank you very much, Marvin, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
So for those who have more questions, please feel free to drop us an email at teatalk@era.com.sg, and we will certainly forward your questions for Marvin to answer. Have a wonderful evening to everyone tonight. See you in our brand new Hear from the Buyer series on Friday at 8 p.m. All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Rely on you to make your dreams come true. That's why we take pride in what we do, and we do it all just for you. With your spirit and your trust, you place your future with us. That's why we're here to lend a hand and finally make you our friend. First in spirit, first in pride, first to be the one to make dreams come alive. First in service, first for you, first to be the one to really do it all for you. Together we will conquer brave new lands. The power's in our hands. Together let us walk the way to success, to be the first and the ultimate best. What we are, first in spirit, what we are, first in pride, first to be the one to make dreams come alive. First in service, first for you, first to be the one to really do it all for you. We will conquer all together. What we are, first in spirit, first in pride, first to be the one to make dreams come alive. First in service, first for you, first to be the one to really do it all for you. Together we do it all, together we do it all.